Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the 12th week of our algorithmic programming course, a Tech Bytes program where we're tackling a new problem each and every week. As the weeks are progressing, we're evolving into more difficult problems, tackling them together, looking at different ways on how to solve them as well. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend, long weekend, that Friday off as well with Easter. Hopefully time was well spent, but now it's time to get back on the grind, finish this month of April out strong with our Python skills and solving even more problems. As always, guys, you guys know who we are. My name is Ram Siddiqui. I'm a senior at Conan, and today the quote war between me and Lavdi continues. My quote saying, one by the late and great Steve Jobs, who said, "People say my code has a lot of bugs, but in reality, it's just an undocumented feature." And honestly, that is so true. If sometimes you're bound to have bugs, aka errors. We've had them countless times in product development. We're live solving them, live debugging. And if those errors are going to be there, when you're presenting, just say, hey, that's an undocumented feature. It's totally a part of the program. But in all reality, you guys, the goal is to solve those bugs, root them out to make your project perfect. But if ever needed, just say, hey, if Steve Jobs said it, I think I should embody that.
Yeah, when everyone looks at my code, I'll just tell them I aim for problems in mind.
Yeah. All right. So this time I came up with something new. Instead of having a coding quote, I added a coding meme. Now coding memes are a thing, actually a huge thing. In Instagram, Reddit, like anywhere you can go, and they're really funny once you actually go into the world of coding. So this one says, doctors say Googling stuff online does not make you a doctor. Well, programmers, well, that's what we do every time we code something. Like looking up some syntax is basically like what we do like every second. So yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure a certain. Oh yeah, Lavdi's elevated her game to memes. We're going. Next week it might be a video, so we'll see where we're going with that. All right, that's a lot of fun. Hopefully, guys. Oh dang, Amelia going with Lavdi. Let's get a quick poll out here.
Yes, let's go.
The quote from Steve Jobs or the meme? Oh wow, GIF or GIF is the question though. Alrighty, well, on to next week now. But guys, as a quick reminder for our programs for this month of April, before we get into the fully summer months, although it does seem like the weather is changing upon us pretty fast outside. Remember, every Monday we got algorithmic programming. Every Wednesday, product development. This month of April, we're going to be wrapping up our project we started last week concerning the new idea of classes and objects with the quiz game. And then every other Friday, we have video gaming hour. Not this Friday, because we just had one last Friday. So we'll see you guys next week. And then Hack Central will be happening on the third Tuesday of this month of April as well. If you guys have any ideas for future stuff you guys want to do in terms of new programs, we're open to hearing that as well as we move on. But yeah, feel free to drop those in the Google Classroom or speak up as well.
All right, so today's agenda, now there's a little bit of typo. It's the same as always. We will talk about a problem. This time it's a bit of a different problem, but personally I love it, and I'll show you why. So, and we'll be coding this together, so don't worry. And basically, before coding it, actually, we're gonna take a look at the things that we're gonna use, like variables, functions, loops, all of that good stuff, and then kind of think out the logic and then code it in Python in Replit.
For sure. So guys, let's get to today's idea. And you guys can see this idea has been sponsored. We're not sponsored by anybody yet. Hopefully, if Purple Cow want to sponsor us, Joe, if they're watching this video, let's get a sponsorship going. But this idea is inspired by Purple Comet. It's a math competition, right, LabD, which goes on every year. I think it already happened. Yeah, so they host
yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have it this week, so yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, good luck. Yeah, so it looks like it's a problem from there. And the problem, guys, it's similar to some things which we've done in the past. It's actually a combination of ideas. Well, the problem we can read out loud is we have a number, right? So when the number 126 is added to its reversal, aka flipping it, the number 621. When we add the reversal and the original number, we get the sum of a certain number. In this case, that certain number is 747. Now we want to see what is the greatest number when added with its reversal gets us the sum of 1,211. So it's a similar idea. You might remember over the past couple of weeks, I believe it was maybe even last week, we had a problem about reversing numbers using modulus, using division. So we have something of that sort. So it's a combination of that idea. And the main goal is to have two numbers and find out which number is the greatest, the original or the reversal, in order to get that sum of 1211.
Now, before we do move on, I want to share something. Screen share. So, Purple
If
Comet
you ever
is
need more project ideas, just go ahead and look at my paragraph I sent you.
Got it.
Yeah, so Purple Comet is like a full-out math competition for high schoolers and middle schoolers. And personally, I love math, but another thing that I love is kind of going to the problem in the most efficient way. Now, if we go take a look at the problem we chose for today, when 26 is added to its reversal, 621. So just imagine like the number of possibilities that can add up to 121. That's a lot. Now, imagine choosing certain possibilities that when flipping the number, that adds to 1,211. Now that's even harder. If we think about like guessing and checking going that way, that'll take us like years maybe, or not years, but like hours, days to do. And I mean, actually, like this is a real real story, but I was taking this practice contest with my team. And when I looked at this, I remembered our algorithmic programming class and how we can use loops and functions in Python in less than like 20 lines of code and actually solve this and not have to think for all of those different numbers, thousands of numbers that we have to plug in, guess and check and all that. So yeah, this is just my kind of victory over math, that we can solve math problems using coding. So we don't actually have to do math when we have code. So yeah.
It's
Exactly.
kind of cheating.
Technically, it's not, because this this contest, they allow us to use anything except for the internet. So why not code when we can use anything? So yeah.
For sure. And if we have time, we could try to take a stab at it in a mathematical sense. Let's see if we can afford that. That would be interesting. But guys, firstly, let's get towards finding out what we're going to be using to solve this problem. First things first, you guys know the basics. We're going to be using variables to keep in track of the certain integers we have, the reversed integer and the original integer, and using them to make comparisons in terms of conditionals with if-else statements and loops as well.
Yep. And then functions. We will use a simple function today, and it'll be pretty self-explanatory. We'll be using one parameter and a return statement. So basically that function will transform the inputted variable into another different type of that variable. Just gonna give a hint, but we're gonna reverse the number in that function. So yeah, that's where we're going to use functions.
And then we're going to utilize a for loop. Now, the main reason, if anybody can anybody tell me right now, why did you think we're going to utilize a for loop without reading that second bullet point? What's the advantage today?
It's that one under, I think. I think it's that one under.
Yeah, so it sort of gave it away. But essentially, remember, guys, the difference is that we use a for loop when we know how many times our loop is going to run. And today, if I go back to the problem, we were told that we want to find the two numbers of which the greatest number in which we get the sum of 1,211. So that tells us that we're going to be running a for loop 1,211 times, which, although seems like a huge number, a computer can do that operation instantly, which we'll see once we start coding.
Yep. And finally, this is a new part that we're going to use today. Reversing a string. Now, as I said, we're going to use a function to reverse a string because we'll have to call it multiple times, or a single time, but technically multiple times in the loop. But like the syntax or like the specific characters when typing Python is this. So inside brackets, you put 2 colons and then the -1. That's it. So here we have an example. Suppose our OG string, that's a variable, is equal to I love coding. Then the reverse string, if we want to set the reverse string variable in as the reverse of our OG string, all we have to do is OG string and then in brackets colon colon -1. That's it. And then the value of a reverse string will be doc eval I.
Exactly. And this will be, this is one of those shortcuts, guys. In the past couple of weeks, we've done problems where we have built-in functions in Python, which allow us to do something very quickly. And then we have different ways of us doing stuff manually. So in the past couple of weeks, we've done a problem where we actually take the time to use modulus, use division to reverse numbers. But today, we got a much more simpler solution, which we can use, like Labi said, the colons, and to flip our strings. So this should be fun to see how it works.
Yep. And finally, code it. Now, before we do code it, let's just read the problem once more, because, I mean, to be honest, the first time I read this problem, I had to read it like 3 or 4 times to actually understand it. But basically what the first sentence says is, it just gives us an example. So, for example, if the number 126 is added to its reversal, which means all of the digits are reversed, which is 621. If you add the two numbers, you get 747. Now, the second sentence is actually the question we're trying to solve. Find the greatest integer. Integer means any number, that it can be a decimal, which when added to its reversal, so we just saw an example of that. Let me annotate over here. So this yields 1,211. So basically what we have to do is find the greatest number, x, so that its reverse plus itself is equal to 1211. And x must be the greatest possible number. All right, so I think without any further ado, let's get started. Let me share my screen. Who's excited?
I think, Avanish, do you already know the answer, man? It looks people are just saying you are the calculator. Anybody know the answer? Any guesses before we even start? Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. 1, 2, 3 chat, and then we'll see. Just take a guess. What do you think will be the higher of the two numbers? We got 1211 is a sum, remember? And then our goal is to find which.
Yeah, I still don't get like the last sentence. So if you was the number like 1, 2, 3, the reversal will be 3 to 1. But then like the next sentence, it's a like reversal yield something.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do a quick example right here using the one in the problem. So we have a number, was it 747, right? Mm-hmm. So we want to get the sum of two numbers to be 747. Now we have one number, which is 126. The problem gave it to us. So this is the first number. Now, what's the reversal of 126, Avanish?
621.
Exactly. Now, if we take the sum of 126 plus 621, we get that the sum is 747. Now, our job today is to do this similar process, but we don't know ahead of time what these two numbers are. And we want to figure out what those two numbers are because we're looking at the sum of 1,211. So we only know one thing, and that one thing is the sum. And then our job is to find what are these two numbers, and then which one of these is the greatest one, and then report that, print that out, return it, whatever we do with that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? That's a good question. This is for sure a much more difficult problem, which we're going about today.
Japanese just adds up every single number we talk about, so that if we do like some math problem, he'll just be like, "Yep, I know that one."
Well, how about you guys? So drop your guess in the chat below, and then we'll see who's the most close to the end.
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go.
So any number between
yeah, guys.
1 and 1,211.
Well, I think just thinking about it might be bigger. Hey, Christian going with 18, okay. Joe, 2010.
Okay.
Joe Rebellion, that's Chase, 76. Well, remember, guys, let's think realistically, right? We have the sum is going to be 1,211. Now, a sum is when we add two numbers together. We can't have one of the numbers be greater than the actual final sum, right? So let's keep it below 1211. 626 Avanish, okay. 626 is like a palindrome because flip the same.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, keep on dropping them and then we'll
We can
see.
use we can use a palindrome in this, right?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay. Cause if you use a palindrome, I was just thinking, because according to my calculation, you could actually generally get closer to 1,211.
Let's see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
okay.
just guessed 626. I mean, I just added it. Now it was 1,256, and that's like really close to 1,211.
Yep.
Oh, let's see what the
That's a
actual
great
answer is.
Yeah. Chase, you can stop right now. You will never reach.
I'm gonna get it someday. I'm gonna get it.
Okay, so I posted the link to the code in the chat, and let's get started. So, first of all, as I said, we will make a function for reversing a string. So just define a function. Let's call it reverse string. Very unique name. And inside that, we're gonna pass in a parameter. So any like the number that we want to reverse. And basically, let's create a variable. There we go. Okay. Reverse string for now. Actually, actual string. Let's take this step by step. Actual string, turn this number into a string. So str and then number. No. Number. And I forgot to tab. Amazing. Okay. And then now that I have turned my number into a string, I will use that notation that we learned. So the brackets and then the colon, -1. But before that, I'm going to say reverse string is equal to the actual string that we just made. And then that. Okay. And finally, let's spell that right before. All I'm going to do is return reverse string. That's it. Once I spell that right again. Okay. So basically what we did is we took the number that was passed in into the function, we turned that into a string, we reversed it, so flipped it around, and then we just returned that out. So think of it like a machine, you put in a number, and then the reverse string is popped out. But right now we're returning a string, but let's just turn that into an integer so we can add it easily when we do use this function. So now this function is, let me type it down. Oh. Okay. What this function is doing is takes in number and spews out the reverse. So in the example that we saw, that 126, if we put 126 into this, it should spew out 621. Actually, let's check it. So let's say print reverse string. I don't know why I call it reverse string. Let's say reverse number. String that. Reverse number, and let's do put in 126. And we do print that and run that. And it should give us $621. So we know that this function works and we don't have to look at it again.
I just found out like that since when you said that about that palindrome, I found out that the number, it has to be 3-digit, and I found out also the hundreds digit and the tens digit has to be 6, and it got like really close. Like I was only one number away. I did 606 plus 606 and I got 1,212, and that's only one away from the answer.
Oh, okay. We're getting really close then. Type that into the chat so we can compare.
I said like 15 different numbers.
Okay, so now that we have defined our function that we're going to use to reverse the number, all we have to do is create a for loop. So for I in range. Now, how many times do we have to run this for loop?
1211.
Wow,
You
amazing.
beat me to it.
Okay, nice. So now this for loop is going to run 1211 times. And inside that for loop, what I'm going to do is suppose I is 1211. See, there's a catch over here. So for loops in Python, actually, let's just print I to make sure that they run from 0 to 1 less than that number. And yes, my hunch was correct. So this last number that you see is the last number, I mean, this is going to, which we don't want. So we're going to start with 1 instead and go to 1212. So 1212. And if we do that, then I feel like my computer is going to stop because it's running very fast right now.
That or it's going to die.
Abdul, what computer are you using?
I'm using a Mac
Why do so many people have Mac these days?
because Macs are awesome. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, yeah, but they have a price tag too. So
Yeah.
yeah. Macintosh. You gotta make a Hackintosh. That's what it's at.
That's his grandfather.
Okay, so as you can see over here, let's see, why is this not? Okay, whatever. The last number over here is 1211, which we do want because we want to check all of the numbers between 1 and 1211, so we know that works. Now, all we have to do is say, let's print the addition of that number plus the reverse of it. Easy. So it's just I plus, since we already made the function, all we have to do is call that function, so reverse number, I. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So this will turn in or print out the additions. Now the last thing that we want to check is if whatever we get over here, just put that in parentheses, if that is equal to what? Which number are we checking if that is equal to?
Is it 1112?
1111. You're close, but yeah, that's what we're basically checking. Like a number and its reverse have to equal to 1211. So that's what we're gonna put in, and all we have to do is print that number, print I. And basically what this will do is print all of the numbers that when you add them with the reverses, will give out 1211. Now, if we go back to the question, let's see. Can you guys see my screen? No, I can't.
I can see your screen.
Yes. No, you can't. Okay, so back to the question. It says, find the greatest integer. So when added to its reversal yields 1211. So to find the greatest integer, all we have to do is, there we go. To find the last printed number. So if we run this, okay, we get about how many numbers are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 numbers. And if we do take out, let me take out a calculator. Got my calculator. If y'all have calculator, actually, I'll just put it up over here so everyone can see. So what was the first number? 259. 259 plus 952, that's the opposite. What is that? Let's go, it's 1211. Now, if we do, I'm not gonna check all of them because I know that our code works, but all of these numbers, if we add them to the reverses, will spew out 1211. But now going back to the question, it asks for the largest integer. So which integer is largest over here?
the last one?
Yeah, exactly. So 952, and believe it or not, that's our answer. That is the answer that we would put in over here. Oh, oh
So
no.
you would put 9 or 952?
952 Avanish, because
Yeah.
like Lavdi just did the operation. 259 and 952 are the two numbers, right? We take the greater one.
Yeah. So going back to the problem, find the greatest integer, which when added to its reversal yields 1,211. So yeah, reporting 952 would give us the correct answer. Congratulations, you have just solved a high school, extremely hard math team problem using
Exactly.
You
code.
look smart.
If we were to do that with paper and pencil, that would, I think, that's talking about probably
Okay.
systems of equations. You're getting much.
I don't want any more math. I'm done for the day.
Well, hey, Lavdi, how about we pull up a whiteboard and do it by math without coding? That would be a treat. But that's, it's something you could explore. But as you guys are, moving up in grade levels, there are more opportunities to take part in high school. If you like this type of stuff and being able to do this type of stuff, I think Lavdi and I would both recommend join the math team and get involved with other clubs and extracurriculars. You will have a good time. And it's more fun when you're in person. Zoom cannot for sure take that experience. Other than that, guys, that takes us till the end for today's problem. For sure, a bit more advanced, but we got through it, looking at it, decomposing it piece by piece. And at the end of the day, it was just, 15, 20 lines of code, and we were able to solve a problem which seemed enormous initially, right? That's the cool thing with coding. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Remember, guys, this Wednesday, we're going to keep on working on our quiz game with classes and objects, starting the actual code for that. And this Friday, we do not have any video gaming hours. So just a 2-program week. Other than that, guys, enjoy the good weather outside. Catch you guys on the next one. See you guys.
Bye.